Hola, brothers and sisters of the Leaf. I am here with my man.
You
I
caught
am
me
here with my
looking down.
man. What?
You caught me looking down. I was like, oh, you scared me, man.
All right, that's twice now. 2 weeks in a row that you stole the whole. Hola, brothers and sisters of the Leaf, and welcome to another edition of the Stogie Road Diaries. Oh, and there's Lars. Let's see.
Putting on my
There he is. What's up?
Hey brother, how are you?
What's going on, Big Sexy?
How are you guys?
We
You
got
guys are looking
Duncan.
great.
We got Lars. What's up, Ronnie? What's up, Daryl?
Look at this.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Lars, I wore a tie just for you, by the way.
Oh,
I said, you know what? I got to do something nice. Something nice.
fancy! I love it. You look
Fancy
great.
Pants, Mr. Fancy Pants over there.
Leave
you
my
look
pants
great.
alone. Leave my pants alone. No one's messing with them.
So I thank you. Well, are you wearing pants? Because we really can't tell, can we?
I can
Hey
stand up.
Duncan, you need to send me an address so I can send you some cigars and stuff.
You know what? I'm gonna send you all my link in bio information.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Lars, he's going to send you 3 different addresses with 3 different names now. Well, listen, tonight, we're talking about marketing because I got to tell you, I'm getting ready to smoke this bad boy.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty, man. That's
And I
pretty.
got to tell you something. You talk about something that will. What's up, Jeff? Good to see you from Rolling Stogies. You talk about something that stands out in a way that trendsetters are, things that stand out in the humidor. This is a Series D. Series D. This is a great cigar. This is tasty.
Thank you so much.
You know what? I was telling Duncan the
Can
other.
you hear me? Okay.
Yeah. I
I
was
want
telling.
to apologize for last week because I used these, a headphone similar to this, and it cut out all the distortion, including my distortion guitar.
No, man, you sound great. You sound really good.
Okay, good.
You know what, Lars is.
Hey, Michael, how you doing, baby?
I was telling Duncan. I said the unique thing, and I noticed this with the grass cigar, is I open it up, you smell it, and it has this very floral, all these different smells, and I mean, just boom, it hits you right away. You cold draw, all those flavors, and then when you light it, boom, completely different, in my opinion.
No, you're right. You're right.
With my palate, it literally just boom. So the one thing I did do for you tonight, Lars, is so we have no distortions.
Oh man,
Oh, snap.
baby, it is on. Baby,
We do
it is on.
have the first we're gonna dip, then we're gonna smash. First we're gonna dip, then we're gonna smash. First we're gonna dip, then we're gonna smash. First we're gonna dip, and then we're gonna smash. Yeah,
I love it.
Duncan, come on.
Primero vamos a bajar, después vamos a golpear. Primero vamos a bajar, después vamos a golpear. Primero a bajar, después a golpear.
Nice.
That's the Spanish version.
That's a Cubanized version.
It was. Daryl just shut us off because he hates my guitar playing. I can't blame him because it's an older guitar that my mother bought for me many, many years ago, and it's out of tune. But I had to do it, Daryl. I had to do it. We're losing viewers.
Oh God. Tell you what. Hola, mi viejita linda, ¿cómo estás? Mom's watching right now.
Oh, Nolita.
Okay, there we go.
Duncan, tell your mother that I love her in Spanish.
Mima, dice Kerry que te adora, que te quiere, que vaya, que de verdad que sinceramente te manda todo lo mejor. Y el señor de abajo, el de sombrero de cowboy, ese se llama Lars Teaton. Es una bella persona, mi viejita. I just said that you're an amazing guy. Sometimes, Lars. Sometimes.
Thank you.
My mom loves to watch Carrie, and that's like another son to her, man.
Ronnie.
Tell her I send my love. Tell your mom I send my love.
Mira,
Lars,
también
Lars.
Yeah.
Ronnie thought that I sent you away with my playing. He ran.
I thought it was my Spanish singing that had just decimated the show.
There is that too.
Primero
I
a
love it.
bajar, después a golpear. Primero a bajar, después a golpear. Primero a bajar.
Sign him, Lars.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. That was beautiful.
Oh,
So I
man.
got my I brought my little acoustic over here next to me.
Oh, God.
See, there you go.
Oh, man.
with the trap house on it. Do you see that?
I got my 2 sticks. That's all I
Trap
got.
house.
Man, you got
Okay.
You guys are
Lars and I will play. Lars and I will play acoustic, and Duncan's gonna play the cymbal.
I'm gonna play the 2 pencils, 2 number 2 pencils,
Hey, I love it.
2 number
4.
2 pencils.
4. It equals
4.
4. So,
Oh man,
hey, before we get the show started and we
Hey,
start really diving in,
I'm sorry to do this, but
before I actually get the show started, Duncan's gonna jump in.
I'm sorry, man. I apologize. Let's just a quick shout out to my main man, Oscar Rodriguez, GCO Cigars.
Dr. Rodriguez.
I love him dearly. I mean, I'm smoking one of his painkillers. Thanks, Doc. Love you, man. Nothing but love for you. Sorry, Kay.
That's all right, Michael. The
I
title.
love that cigar that I smoked of yours last time, Kerr. That was a good cigar. I smoked the whole way through.
The Sweetgrass Gringo. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Very good.
Michael, this is the Stogie Road Diaries, and I do have.
Cowbell.
We need more cowbell. I do have Duncan and Lars in my diary, so I don't know I don't know if that's good. But before we get the show started, I did want to.
We need more Phil.
I know more cowbell. I did want to acknowledge and wish my brother who's in heaven a happy birthday. We lost my brother back in the summer of 2020, and he would have been 58 today. So happy birthday, Tony. We love and miss you.
Happy birthday.
I still keep his deer antlers of the first deer he ever shot.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Lars, you're in Pennsylvania. My brother lived in Schuylkill Haven,
Oh, nice.
up in Pottsville. We lost him over the summer suddenly, and I just want to wish
Sorry
him
to
a
hear
happy
that.
birthday, and we miss him and love him. And every birthday, I would call him and sing the happy birthday song by Jimi Hendrix. If you ever get an opportunity to go on YouTube and check out Jimi Hendrix happy birthday song, it's the bass beat that they use for Jimmy Jam, that the Beastie Boys use for Jimmy Jam. It is fantastic. So
Is there a truck anywhere? Because it sounds like there's a truck.
that was a helicopter, bro. Duncan, Duncan, you've been to my house.
Don't even talk. Lars, one of the first shows we ever did in his backyard, I swear to God, I almost dove down and landed in the grass because people were shooting. There's a gun range. And all you hear is like these 50 caliber, bam, bam. I'm gonna say, okay, that's it. I'm done. We're out.
We have a military base behind us.
Yeah.
We have a gun range half a mile down the road, and then we have a small airport. So we either have the Hercules helicopters flying overhead. We're constantly hear gunshots from the gun range outside, and then every once in a while, a small, Cessna will fly over. So it sounds like we're kind of like in a World War One.
Red Dawn, man. It's like Red Dawn at his house.
Wow.
It's hilarious. So Duncan and I did our first show outside, and it sounded like we were we were
Battlefield.
It sounded like it was like in the middle of some sort of uprising going
I
on.
wanted to scream, Wolverines! I felt the moment. I said, at some point,
I'm sorry, Michael.
see a
Sorry to hear that.
invading, I'm screaming.
Michael said he lost his brother last Monday. You have my deepest sympathies and prayers for that. It's tough. So Michael, God bless. So we started off the series with construction because the construction of a cigar is important, right? Look at this, right?
Thank you, baby.
Construction is important. Last week we really got a chance to dive into the tobaccos. We did dive into a lot more than tobaccos, but head first into tobacco, and we came out the other end with other stuff. But you know what? That's why I love the show. That's why I love having you guys on. But we did talk about the importance of tobacco, fermenting. Lars gave us a great feedback on over the many years and his experience. Duncan, your experience with tobaccos, the family experience, the filler, the wrapper, the binder, the aging, the chemicals that some people use. And now tonight, we'll talk a little bit about marketing, because you can have a great cigar, great construction, but some folks believe that marketing is important. they believe the cigar band. I've heard that when I came out my cigar, I was told I need a cigar band. I need a cigar band. We did quite well at the Cedar Sleeve, and the new batch that are going to be coming out. Hopefully, I think we're going to be looking at early summer with the new factory we're working with. We're going to be coming out with our new cigar band.
What finger is that? What finger is that?
You don't want to know,
very
Duncan.
nice
It's a stinky finger. It's a stinky
That's
finger.
a very nice band.
Thank you, sir. So we are going to have a band this time around. So Lars, I want to start off with you. Then I want to pivot over to Duncan because Lars, you have a different perspective from being a cigar maker. Duncan, you have another perspective with being a tobacconist and working in a humidor. And I think both of your experiences will bring this together. And and the reason why I start with Lars is because, let's face it, if you see one of your cigar boxes and the bands, it ain't your normal cigar box and band.
No.
It catches your eye. I told you, in 1997, it caught my eye in a humidor because it wasn't the normal box. So how do you get to that point? Like, when you get involved in this, how do you get to that point besides white boy cigars?
Right.
What inspires you to create such a box, and how do you feel marketing the way you've done it has helped your brand?
Okay, so like in the beginning, when I first started making cigars, I never had a band on it. I literally rolled up cigars, put them in a plastic bag, and sold them. And it was just like a big plastic bag. That was about it. And if you wanted the cigars, I didn't even bundle them like normal people in like newspaper and a little ribbon. I just put them in a plastic bag and sold it. That was it.
You didn't have Bovita packs either, right?
Yeah, none of that. But then later on, I started, putting them in boxes. Even before that, one of my partners back in the old days, she convinced me that I had to do a band for the cigar. And I remember I was watching Yo MTV Raps. Remember that?
Wow.
That's back in the days.
Yeah.
Sub Q.
Really back in the days.
Man, that's really back in the day.
So I was like, okay, you want me to do a cigar band? Sure, I'll do it. And then I was at the kitchen, like the island, in the kitchen where you sit, it's like the high stools and you're sitting at the table eating breakfast. And I just took a napkin off of that and just handwriting it with magic marker as a joke. I wasn't even being serious. I wrote Lars T. I drew a little crown that I used to have. I used to have a basic kind of crown like that on a lot of my stuff. And then I just put Fat Cigars, PHAT, because, everything was fat.
Baby.
Yeah.
So I thought it was funny. I did it as a joke. It wasn't even supposed to be real. So she took that napkin and she brought it to the printers and just scanned it, and they made a template of it, and that was my band. That was my first band.
Really? That's crazy.
Yep, just Lars Teens Fat Cigars with my little crown on it that I still use today. But I mean, look, I did that back in this is maybe 91,
Yeah.
92. And before that, and even afterwards, I really didn't like bands. I didn't care. I figured I wasn't really that serious about it anyways. I wasn't at the beginning. I just wanted to make cigars that would last for my family and my friends.
Yeah.
That would, they could smoke when they wanted to. It wasn't really about I wasn't really thinking about this being like a real thing or promoting it or whatever.
So there was really no need for any type of artwork or bands or anything like that.
No, but once I started doing bands, I went crazy with bands. And I was like one of the first people to put the pictures all over the things. And it wasn't like old fashioned looking. It was all pictures of me since I was a little kid till whatever year it was. And I did my first picture bands on rice paper. Ooh, look. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's funny. I mean, it's pretty cool that a joke on a napkin, kind of blew up. Really, I mean, it's not only something that's a signature of your brand, but many of companies have copied it.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, look, being realistic, you guys have been in the industry for a little bit. You guys know how what was going on before me and after me. So I took the cigar industry in a different direction. I don't know if that was good or bad. I'm not saying it's a good thing.
That's
I'm just
great.
saying I definitely took the cigar industry in a crazy way. Oh yeah, that's right, baby.
Nice. Michael's on one. So Duncan,
So,
my man, listen, buddy. I said it before. I'll say it again.
is that
You've
you in a full kendo attire in that corner? Oh,
Yes.
dude, man, I need to meet you, man. I gotta hug you. I'm like so into this stuff, dude. Oh man, I love it. I'm sorry, Kay, but I just
no, it's all right, man. You go right ahead. I'm not going to stop the love.
I
Who am
love
I?
when you were saying these are pictures of you, man. You ain't joking. So this is like, man, that's awesome, dude. I'm sorry. It was just like, wow,
So
nice.
I was a live-in student with Shingyo Hashimoto, which his father is Big Master One, who was the last royal samurai family of Japan. And he basically adopted me into his family and made me one of his disciples.
Dude,
And
awesome.
my ex-wife, who at the time was the second senior student in my Japanese master school, she went to Shinjuku in Tokyo, and she trained. She taught kenjutsu there, and she trained with Big Master One. It was pretty cool.
That's fascinating, man. Again, I started to get sidetracked, but that was pretty doggone cool right there.
Duncan,
Thank
you
you.
know how we roll here, man. There is no sidetracking. There are no sidebars. It just all eventually mixes together.
So
And
what? So
I'm
what is
training
it?
Duncan. I'm
Yeah, what's
training
up?
right now. I'm training a guy who's going to be a heavyweight world champion, a boxer.
You were mentioning something like that in the previous
Yeah,
show, dude. I
yeah.
mean, you are like really a renaissance man. I mean, wow.
Yes.
I was just too stupid to know I couldn't do things.
I tell you what, sometimes that's all you need, right? They
Yeah,
say a lot of talent and a little bit of stupidity, right?
yeah. I had a lot of stupidity,
a
so
lot
I
of
didn't
stupid.
know.
That's great. But you know, it's. I'm not surprised because when you get, when you're looking at a cigar, you taste it, you smell it, and you're looking at the artwork. Not surprised that you venture off into other areas. If that's the great thing about talent. Duncan is very similar. He's a very talented man. He's multifaceted in his talents. And that's about as
Little bit,
that's about as far as my compliments go with Duncan.
a little bit.
Duncan, I want to go grab a poster. I'm going to come right back and show it to you from like what old school poster. Hang on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So while Lars goes and gets a poster, Duncan, I said it before. You've introduced me to so many great cigars. Your knowledge of the humidor, the ability to navigate, take people to brands that they probably would have never known or heard about because they're going in looking for one thing and they're looking for another.
So
How
back in the
important how important is the marketing to you when it comes to the information?
It's funny you say that because interestingly enough, I love artistry. When I see a beautiful band, I mean, I think it's wonderful. It has
Yeah.
and whatnot. But being a retailer, being a tobacconist, a lot of the times I try to separate my love of art and the beautiful graphics from the quality of the cigar and what I'm looking for in cigars. Because at the end of the day, I always say, you know what, it could be a stunning looking box, a gorgeous looking band, but if the cigar is not going to do it for you, you're not going to come back and buy it again. So,
That's smoking the band.
yeah, I mean, I never really want to say it quite in a way that sounds negative, but at the end of the day, being a tobacconist and working with customers daily, you really want to make sure that whatever you put in their hand, it's about the cigar. It really is about the quality of that cigar and the enjoyment of that cigar. And yes, if it's got a beautiful looking band, man, that's a plus. I Years ago, I came across a cigar that literally had an amazing band, like, almost like the entire length of it. And I'm not going to go deep into the who was it or whatnot. Needless to say, it was a mythical sea creature that was on it. And if anybody can interpret that, then that's the cigar. When
The
I saw it,
Kraken.
yeah, a female-oriented mythical sea creature. So when I saw the cigar, I said, "Wow, what a beautiful band! It's awesome! It's gorgeous!" I smoked the cigar, and it was horrendous.
A sea creature.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bottom-dwelling sea creature. And I said to myself, I can't. How can I bring this
Right.
anywhere? How can I properly sell this? And again, stuff like that. I've seen. I had the pleasure of knowing, calling friend, and working with one of the best graphic artists in the industry, Manny Iriarte, out of Miami. And Manny is basically the right hand of God for the Fuente family when it comes to graphic work. And I mean, he's done the jewelry behind the Opus X. He's done so many wonderful things. So
The Hublot, the watch.
the Hublot watch,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a master of his craft. I love him. There's also I think Montserrat Albert or Robert Montserrat in the Dominican Republic. They call him the Lord of the Rings. The man is a genius when it comes to beautiful designs. So there's some people who are truly masters of their craft, and I love that. And I like them even more, and I like everything more when there's a perfect marriage. The cigar is very well balanced to that artistry, because when it's not, you're only doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah. It's false advertising, right?
I mean, like I said, I'd rather smoke a cigar that has no band sometimes, because if it's a great cigar, it's a great cigar,
Yeah.
It'll keep everybody back to back coming. They're like, hey man, I don't know what that cigar was, but I loved it. I had that happen. It was, of all things, nothing fancy. Tabacos Baez, which is one of the sub brands that Pepin does for My Father Cigars. It's about a $3 to $4 cigar.
Yeah.
It has no fancy, it's like a little simple ring. It's a little fancy looking box, and man, people kept loving that. It wasn't his greatest design, marketing wise. It wasn't the greatest graphic stuff, but the cigar, for the price and for what it was, spoke volumes, and people kept coming back to it. So, again, the standard lying Padrones, little itty bitty, little simple band. People love buying those 2,000s, 3,000s, 7,000s. I mean, it really,
Yeah,
to me, it is about the cigar sometimes far more than the marketing behind it. And maybe because I'm just subjective to it like that. I don't know.
I think you have a that in the humidor experience, and Bob Finley just posted that people buy with their eyes first, which is true. But that's why you have an experienced tobacconist to navigate you through those.
You guys excuse me for just 1 minute. I hate to do this. I do have to step out for just 30 seconds, Kay. I mean, if you guys are okay with that.
You got a casserole
no
in the
problem.
oven?
I don't have a casserole, but listen. I'll be right back.
All right.
I'm gonna take
All right.
my dish.
Lars Duncan has another meatloaf in the oven.
It's not a meatloaf. Look, I'm wearing pants.
So what were you gonna say, Lars? You stepped away for a poster.
Yeah, I'm going to show the poster when he comes back.
We're gonna wait for Duncan's meatloaf. Don't let
Yeah,
your meatloaf.
Exactly. But I did bring some boxes too, but I'll wait till Duncan comes back and I'll show him. I have a few different boxes from throughout my
There you
time
go, buddy. Look at that.
making cigars. Ooh, yeah.
That's spectacular. That's a good cigar. So I mean, with over the years, I mean, and I know Duncan. Duncan's the kind of guy where he's a purist. He's able to go in there and navigate through that. But some folks were saying earlier, you buy with your eyes first, and and I think your perspective, Lars, is pretty cool because you are an artist. You make cigars, but you're an artist. So, how true is that you buy with your eyes first when you walk in the humidor?
I think he's probably. I mean, you're probably right on that. See, look, this was inside. This is like a box inside of a box. But I have my artwork in there.
Yeah.
There's another painting. some more of my artwork.
Nice. Bob Finley, you need to acquaint yourself with Lars's brand. Bob's a cigar reviewer. I've known Bob just as long as I've known Duncan. Great guy.
And then
Very
on the
nice.
back.
Ooh, I like that box. That's cool.
I hate getting all the glare on it, but
All
whatever.
right.
No, it looks good though.
I'm back, boys.
Well, we've answered two questions, Lars. We answered the question of Duncan's meatloaf is still okay, and we also answered the question that Duncan is wearing pants.
Nice.
So
It's not meatloaf. We were doing some rewarming of stuff from last night. That's all we're doing.
So Daryl says that when he does his review, he gives packaging or the artwork only 1% of his rating. And Daryl's a very structured reviewer. Bob Finley also is a very good reviewer. Bob Finley, I was telling Duncan, I was telling Lars, we've known Bob a very long time. He's one of the four horsemen. Me, Bob, Duncan, and another good buddy of ours, Stefan Herman, years ago. We've
agree
been to
with
many
that.
events.
I agree with that. I really don't think packaging comes into play when you're rating a cigar. But I will show you like some of my old packaging, like my poster, and I'll show you some old packaging. How about that poster?
That's awesome, dude. Oh my God.
So I dropped my ash. Dropped my ash. I love it.
You dropped your ash.
I dropped my ash. Wow, I freaking that
And that
that
girl's
poster got
pure-
me all excited.
Pure Cuban.
She looks very pure and very Cuban. That's exactly what I was thinking when I saw her.
Yeah.
Is that what you think of pure like Duncan? He's a pure Cuban.
Pure Cuban.
So this was this is a crazy little box thing that a friend of mine and I came up with. And then this box, a bigger one, went inside of this.
Wow.
And then that was all shrink wrapped. And so it looked kind of like a fishing crate.
Oh wow.
I like that.
And then it has the artwork inside of it. And you take that out. The artwork.
Like a tray. That's cool,
But
man.
let me ask you then, Lars.
I did these paintings, Duncan.
That's what I was gonna say. You're also
Yeah.
known for your art,
Yeah.
which I think that actually again is a good marriage. For example, if you get a guy who first you're artistic, you got so many things going on for you, but if you get some schmuck says, yeah, I'm gonna throw in this and I'm gonna throw in that and blah 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 blah, that he has no ties to it. I don't want to see that. I
right.
want to see if you have an artistic soul, if you have an artistic heart, and you're passionate about cigars or music or whatnot, and you bring that to bear. I think that there is a difference there because you're continually telling a story
Yeah.
through your artwork tied into your cigars. I know that we mentioned, I think last night we were talking about also Matt Booth. When Matt Booth came on board with Camacho years ago, I immediately clicked with him because he's an interesting character. There's a lot of different faces to him. The musician, the Marine, the jeweler. I mean, some of the things that I could relate to that I enjoyed and I liked that. And I saw that translating into his cigars. And
Yeah.
I see that about you. That to me, as a retailer, I dig that. I can wrap my mind around that because one, it's who you are. It's representative of what you got going on in your life. And your cigar now, it's a beautiful tie-in. But when I got a guy who's putting on a ring that's this damn big and it's like nothing to do with anything at all, and the cigar just doesn't even come across as good, that's when as a retailer I say, well, you have a lifespan of 3 months in my shop. If in 3 months you haven't moved, you're done. You're in the 50% discount bin box and you're out of here. It doesn't
Well,
matter.
you're hardcore, man.
Well,
You're ball buster, Duncan.
and I'll tell you what, and I know some shops carry that they don't even give it that much time.
No, yeah, I give you a hard time, but you're absolutely right, and I do like the fact that we've talked, Lars. I don't know if you've ever had Felix Mesa El Galan. Duncan and I interviewed him years ago. Nicest guy you ever want to meet, but his cigar bands tell a story. His artwork tells a story of the farm, his grandparents' farm, his grandmother, His grandfather, the El Galan, it was named after him. um, and I love and that's one of when I did my artwork for my cigars, I wanted something to tell a story. That's my grandfather sitting on a 1938, I can't remember the hell, Packard, and smoking a cigar.
Lucky guess.
I
I just said Packard. Lucky guess.
But I wanted to tell a story about the travels of cigars. So I love the fact that you have that artistic value and quality about you that you can kind of overlay and, like Duncan said, marry into the cigars.
Yeah, and I also wanted, when people saw the bands, if I was going to do a band, I wanted people to get to know who I was.
Right.
And that's kind of why I did all the different pictures and different stuff, so people, they got to see like the real me.
Yeah.
Throughout my years.
Like I just said earlier, you immediately, when you pulled out and you saw the imagery back there, let's say, there's other people who are fans of martial arts. There's other people who are maybe fans of boxing, fans of sports that are pugilistic in nature. All of a sudden now they see that man. Hey, buddy, this guy is all about UFC. This guy is all about kendo. This guy's and automatically now you are capturing a love that is not just cigars, where you're like, hey man, that guy who's smoking my cigar, he bought it. He's the sensei at a dojo in Seattle. Who the heck knows? But it's that capture which I like about what you're doing, and that's also what I look for when for example, when reps would walk into my shop. I remember there was one particular episode, and I liked it because I thought it was a really beautiful and unique concept. The packaging for the cigar was a book. You basically opened up the book, and it had like 1 or 2 pages, and it had a little bit of a story. But the concept was a really pretty, beautiful looking book. I thought, wow, I could follow this because I'm a fan of books. I love to read. I mean, I got tons of books in my office, and I said I could see this translating to other people who enjoy reading a good book, smoking a good cigar. Again, stuff like that, like with you, I'm down with it. I can see correlations and tie-ins that truly, truly work. But I think that when the marriage is not there, you could not sell me pretty all day long, and I'm still not going to buy into it,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Really, I remember when I really was kind of rebelling against my bands, I took just a red piece of twine, and I just had a red piece of twine tied around my cigar.
Yeah, and now that's almost now I could probably name several brands that do that.
Yeah.
This was like 30 something years ago.
Right.
And like what Kerry just said, what you did as a moment of saying, you know what, enough is enough. I'm done. I'm going to just go completely crazy. Now today, I remember I said, you know what, this guy did it then, and you know what, look at him now. I'm going to go ahead and do it right now again. So
if you check out that, and they're good cigars, and this isn't obviously a cut or anything, it's a serious thing, but you check out Ezra Zion cigars, they have a series of these cigars that they just tie a piece of a ribbon around it, and that's it. They had the Lucille, which is basically an homage to the baseball bat that Negan uses in The Walking Dead. And all they did was just wrap wire around it. And I'm sitting there looking at this fucking cigar. I'm looking at this cigar going, wow, I'll take 2 because that's freaking brilliant. Like, especially if you're a fan of The Walking Dead. I mean, the cigar is a great cigar, but just the thought of just saying, I'm going to call this Lucille and just take a piece of copper wire and just wrap it around this cigar.
I love that.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Carrie, shut up. You're like a fan of Negan. I saw you when you did Negan for Halloween.
I did do Negan for Halloween.
It was like all about that, man.
I was smoking a cigar, man. I had the leather jacket on. But the one thing, Lars, I wanted to ask you about this, man, and it's kind of funny, is that I almost feel like I know the answer to the question, but I'm going to ask it anyways, because I think as an artist, whenever you put your art out there, it's putting yourself out there. Right? I mean,
Sure.
If you're painting, you're a sculptor, whatever, you're putting yourself out there. And the same holds true when you create a cigar. You're putting yourself out there. Now, you've done your art and your cigar and combined them, so it's almost you're putting so much out there for criticism.
Yeah,
The
and I
smoking of the
never.
cigar and then the art of the cigar. It's like, man, you're putting a lot out there. I mean, how do you feel when you put
In
that
the
out there?
very beginning, I got criticism constantly, so I'm used to it. Everyone told me in the very beginning, there's no way you're going to sell a cigar like that. There's no way that you're going to sell a cigar in a box like that. There's no way. Every single thing I
Yeah,
did, people said there was no way I was going to be able to do it.
Well, Lars, I'm gonna say it like this, and
there you are.
I, I I love presentation. I had the pleasure working as an interior designer for almost 15 years, so aesthetics do play a role in my world. I like beautiful presentation. I like someone who's taking the time out to create something beautiful. But like Daryl just said right there, you could give me something fabulous looking, and the moment I have a taste of it, I'm like, man, what is on this plate? That being said, when what you have done, I believe, set the standard, if not the benchmark by many other companies today. Because as you said, I'm gonna put my art, I'm gonna put my heart, my soul, and my cigars a fusion into one. And there's a lot that can come back at you. Like you said, you got
You're
criticized,
throwing a lot out there, man.
but you know what? You overcame because you believed and you said, it's me right here. And if you like me, you're going to love this. It's my cigars. And if you like my cigars, you're going to love everything else about it. So I think that there are companies today or started after you, they never nailed it. I don't think that they have nailed it yet. To this, to them, it's a continuing. Well, what other kind of like crappy, weird-looking thing that we can throw into a box or on a box to catch attention because the cigars suck, and that's going on right now daily in the industry. It's how can we divert the consumer from the cigar by giving him an ashtray, by giving him a can of this or what
Freebies, yeah.
yeah. To me, dude, you're not doing me a service. Never at all, much less a consumer. Save your money. If you want to do something very unique, I say give me a true extension of the art. Give me a true extension of the artist and give me a cigar that pairs beautifully with that. Then I'm all in. If
Right.
you give me a separation or a blending that doesn't work, it's going to go back to that same plate. Listen, Nouvelle Cuisine is fantastic, but Nouvelle Cuisine is a title and the cuisine can be shit. Let's just call it what it is, you know. And I had years ago I visited Les All, which is one of Rest His Soul, Anthony Bourdain's restaurant in Miami, and I had a fantastic dish. And you know what? The joint, they served it all on top of butcher block paper, and everybody's like walking around like, dude, these girls like hippies. I'm like, what is this? But the food was phenomenal. There were stories everywhere. I mean, everywhere I looked, there was a sense of this is the joint, man. This is this food. And if you walk in and you don't know, you're like, man, what kind of a crappy
Most places I've had good food I walk into is like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially
Well,
you come
when you
down.
guys come up and visit me, I'll cook for you.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I can tell you, Lars.
speaking of cooking, hold on. Would you guys again? 30 seconds.
Go check your
No
freaking
problem.
casserole.
Not a casserole.
But speaking of the cooking part, I mean, we got your gift. I got to tell you, Jennifer is a straight shooter. My fiance, and she's from Jersey.
I
So
love that.
she's from North Jersey.
North Jersey girl.
North Jersey. So if she doesn't like something, she's going to tell you she doesn't like something.
Yeah, hell
Right?
yeah.
She's not going to say, "Oh yeah, Lars, this is great stuff." And there's a huge difference between being complimentary and being an ass kisser and just telling it like it is.
Right.
So Jennifer just resides in this world of compliments what she thinks needs to be complimented and basically saying it shit for shit. There is no ass kissing in between. And my dad just he said that most criticism has its roots in jealousy. Yes, Dad, you are absolutely right.
Hey, Anthony, how are you?
That's my dad. That's my
Very nice to meet
pawpaw.
you.
So, I've always been a big fan of yours of the seasoned salt, right?
Yes.
This is, I'm telling you, when you sent me this, and I put it on my first eggs, I think it was. I was like, wow. So Jennifer tried this, and Jennifer's like, this is the best sea salt she's ever had, the best seasoning. And when she tells it, she's a cook. She likes to cook. She works a full day at the hospital, comes home, and makes a home cooked meal every night.
Wow, that's awesome.
So when she says that, I'm like, okay, I know it's got chops, right? It's got some legs. So when we got the garlic love, the one thing about this garlic love that I noticed, and I know we're deviating here from cigars, which is perfectly fine.
Sopa de huevos.
So when I opened this the first time, and I'm like, okay, man, it has garlic. I said, but it's got some sweet, obviously, sweet garlic love. I'm like, man, this has got some good garlic, flavoring, the smelling, some honey smell. She made a steak the other night, put it on there. I got to tell you, what a great combination of the sweetness and the garlic. Because sometimes when you see these mixtures with garlic, it's overbearing with garlic, right? It's like, hey, if it doesn't punch you in the face with garlic, right? It's not a garlic seasoning. So when I first smelled this, honestly, I was like, this is good. I'm like, I said, here, Jennifer, I said, this smells really good. I said, but it's not very garlicky because apparently I've conditioned my brain. But when she put on a steak, holy crap, it was good. I mean,
I didn't want it to be overwhelmingly
it's
garlic.
not.
I wanted to have that really beautiful taste of like that garlic kind of, when you wanted to have like a garlic salt, but you wanted to have it something that has more dimension in the flavor. That's what I wanted to create with that.
There's a difference between having garlic that punches you in the face and garlic that freaking hugs you. This garlic hugs you. It
And
is.
kisses you.
Cigars or what? I mean, I'm just lost here.
It's okay though. Since you went and checked your casserole, we started talking to food.
Listen, it's warming. I did Jonathan cooked pasta and stuff yesterday. I've been warming it so when he comes out of the bathtub, the food's
Listen,
good.
I'm not going to criticize your warming of food, Duncan. You warm away.
I'm a caring kind of guy. I care. Not a lot, but I care.
You know what? And even when you don't care, you do a good job of faking it.
I do.
And then we got.
Oh, that is such a good adobo. I think that really, and I don't like to be egotistical when I do this kind of stuff. So please, I'm really not that guy.
Carrie,
But
can you pronounce that? Can you
love
pronounce that?
What's
I
this?
I want Carrie to pronounce that. What's that word that was there with a little accent on it? What is that? Can you pronounce that?
Get a D's adoba.
Cadiz.
Cadiz adobo.
It's a damn Spaniard thing. Cadiz.
I said a Cadiz.
Yeah. Where's the R? There's no R. Lars, this is what I get into it with him.
I didn't say an R. I said Cadiz.
Spanish,
I didn't say Cadiz. I didn't say Cardis. This is dog Cardis adobo.
Sopa de huevos. There you go. Sopa de huevos.
Yes, cumpleaños feliz. Go ahead, Lars.
So adobo was originally created in Cadiz, Spain, and they used antibacterial. It wasn't really for flavor in the beginning. It was just when you're drying meat and you don't want it to be able to get moldy and bacteria and all that kind of stuff. They used antibacterial herbs, but those herbs also made it taste delicious. So I made a real antibacterial adobo that you would use for aged drying meats and making dried beef or dried venison or dried pork or dried whatever.
Okay, jerky.
Yep, so that you would be able to store it and be able to travel with it. And it just has the most incredible flavor too.
It does. I popped this on our chili the other night. Wow.
So good. And so, whenever I'm doing some kind of seasonings or creating a seasoning, I like to go into the history of it. I like to really dig the roots of the history of where that flavor's coming from
Right.
and how I want that flavor to have. I did this thing called Irish spice, and it's incredible. But I did I did a deep dive into the history of the seasonings that they used in Irish cooking for the last like 1,000 years. Different herbs they
They
use
use they
there.
use they use seasoning in Irish cooking.
Yes, really good seasoning. Trust, it's really good. And then I also did a deep dive because they also brought in spices from overseas and from Asia, and they already were making curries, even
Oh, I love
hundreds of
curry.
years ago. So I wanted to make it very specific, and I have like over 20 different kinds of curries I make, dried curries, and I make wet curry too. But the dried curries, each one I really derive from the seasoning from that area. So I have an English curry that's a very traditional kind of English curry seasoning, and then the Cadiz, which is more of a traditional from Spain, used for the antibacterial to dry meats. And then I have an Irish that called Irish spice, but in reality, it's kind of an Irish curry because all curries are just mixed spices. I have Jamaican curries, I have Thai curries, I have different kind of curries from India, but from all different because if you travel throughout India, it has you have all different kind of flavor profiles from north to south, east, west, central India. So I really try to like develop my curries from the historical base of where it came from.
That's
So
incredible because I'm,
that's
I'm I'm a
really
big fan of curry.
me too.
I love curries and some of the and I actually chicken salad, homemade chicken salad with curry in it,
Oh, so good.
and
So
and and you stuff a baked potato. You open up a baked potato and put it inside of it. Fantastic.
yeah, that's delicious.
You know what was the craziest spice I've ever had, and I don't know if what's up, Letty DeTomo, my buddy from college. What's up, buddy? Um, I was up in D.C. I was working, and the first time I've ever had Ethiopian food.
Oh my God, I love making Ethiopian food.
The spice that was used with the Ethiopian food was fantastic. It tasted great. Thank God I was in a hotel room by myself that night because I told Jennifer, I'm like, I'm in the room by myself, and I always had the balcony, so the door open, but fantastic. And the doctor who I got the lunch for, and we were he's Ethiopian, and he was explaining to me about the spices, how they blend all these different spices together, and how it's very unique, and it had such a unique flavor to it. I never had Ethiopian food before.
Okay, so this is going back maybe probably more than 15 years ago, I think. Somewhere around 16 years ago, maybe 15, 16 years ago, something like that. And yes, I think he actually is going to.
Yes, Bridget. I'll be in touch with you, Bree.
So I I had I have a bunch of my martial arts students there. I'm making this whole big Ethiopian dish, curried lamb, some all different kinds of. I made the spongy sour bread that you eat the food with.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
I made all these different kind of grain things that are all indigenous to Ethiopia, and a whole bunch of different foods, soups and stuff, all different indigenous foods to Ethiopia. And one of my buddies, without telling me, never called me, nothing. He just wanted to make a surprise visit, came over to stop by and say, hey. And he brought one of his best friends who had just come out of Ethiopia. He's a Navy SEAL. He was working with the SEALs for like 2 years in Ethiopia. And he came here to visit his friend. And his wife knew me when she was an editor at one of the top fashion magazines. And she used to come to parties with me in New York, in the Manhattan. So he came to the place. He had just left Ethiopia the day before. He comes in, and here I have this whole spread.
That's
He
crazy.
said, this looks just like in Ethiopia. This stuff, I can't believe this. Did you make all this stuff? Yeah, okay, I made all this stuff, but yeah, I love Ethiopian food. And so he started eating it. He could not believe it. He was just like, this tastes exactly like a high-end restaurant in Ethiopia. Uh,
That's
he went
great.
crazy about it. But I really dig deep into different, and that's why I did a lot of travel even when I was very young. And I would always go into the kitchens and hang out with the people who lived in that community. And instead of like trying to go out to just restaurants, I'd go and hang out with families, and I would come in and prep and cook with them so that I could really get like, what people in that
Right.
world cooked, how they cooked, how they saw food. I thought it was really a good way of being able to really understand the people when you come and cook with them and hang out with them.
It's funny as we were watching the cooking show, and I cannot remember what it was. I don't know if it was Andrew Zimmer or what it was, but he said, if you really want to get a good feel for
I knew Andrew when he was a young kid.
he said, if you really want to get a good feel for the food within a region, don't go to a restaurant, stay with a family.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can tell you, Duncan's mother, the Cuban food that she cooks is out of this world. I mean, nothing like your meatloaf, Duncan.
No. We've done a few events in the past when she did the cooking, and let me tell you, man,
Oof.
people literally they walk in, they just begin grabbing plates, and it's the traditional, arroz con gris, which is the white rice with black beans, and the deep fried pork, and the yuca, and the mojo, and all kinds of sweet plantains, and literally, I'm like, wow, these people are going to town, and within minutes, all the food, and we have trays and trays. Literally, there's nothing left. And I said, Ma, the day we ever decide to go into food, we'll be wealthy, but I'm not going to do that. But my mom in Cuba, she had, she ran kitchens. She also did them here in the United States. And always she did either one or the other. She either worked, in kitchen environments, or she worked in cigar factories in Cuba and here. And, those are her two passions. My mom, if you want to see her happy, she says the greatest dessert ever made is deep fried pork. Go figure. In her mind, you give her a big old piece of chicharrón, the big fat.
Oh yeah, I know. I love that so much.
That's like her dessert. She said, "This is the greatest life." A big old thing. And she's I am living. And then soon thereafter, she's got her cigar lit, and that is a happy old lady. And
She makes a great Cuban coffee too. I mean,
yeah,
God.
I love
Cafecito.
I love home cooking. Like what you guys said. When you visit places, yeah, it's fun to visit. Some of the local eateries, but I love it when my friends say, "Hey, man, come on over. We're gonna cook tonight." And I'm like, "Oh, that's a treat."
Right. It is, and I got to tell you what, Lars, I gotta give you hats off to the hot sauce.
Oh, thank you.
That is, it's another in my opinion, when I put it on the chili, it adds some heat to it, but some sweetness, which is phenomenal.
Thank you.
I got to definitely try your curries because I am. Ask Jennifer. Jennifer's not a curry person; she just isn't. But
I'll send you some curry tomorrow.
But she does make things for me with curry because she, but I'm the kind of guy where when folks are putting like salt and pepper on stuff, I'll pull out the curry and I'll just go, I'll put some curry on it and mix it in. And I'll be like, a little bit of curry will make it. It makes it an Indian dish just like that.
Curried popcorn.
Curry popcorn. We'll get soups and different meals. I'll put it on my eggs too. It's just fantastic. Jennifer wants to know if you do any desserts or chocolates.
Yes, I've been making chocolate since I was a young kid, and I do tons of desserts. Although I can't eat most of the desserts I make now because of my no carb diet, but I do make a completely carbless cheesecake. And when I went on this diet, I was thinking, like, how am I ever going to not eat ice cream again? And then I was like, fuck that. I'm going to eat ice cream. I'm going to make the ice cream myself. I made 0 carbohydrate ice cream. But now they make like a 4-gram carbohydrate ice cream that's amazing. And it's at Whole Foods and at Wegmans. So I just buy it now. It's a lot faster and easier, but it's delicious.
So you
4 grams.
now we did talk about this before, and I'm gonna circle back to this because the reason why
You
is
need to, Frank.
the reason why is folks say, "What do you like to pair your cigar with?" Well, I like to pair it with whiskey. I like a Scotch. I like Monkey Shoulder. Everybody gets real specific. I like pairing my cigar with coffee. Period. I just do.
So I'm drinking coffee and butter.
That's good stuff, by the way. Actually, I had a good friend of mine recommend it to me. He's a big old bodybuilder type. He said, if you want to jumpstart your metabolism in the morning, good strong black coffee, and he goes, and Irish butter. Took a nice
Really?
of that, put it in there.
That's what I do. Half a stick of butter in my cup of coffee.
Half a stick of butter?
Yeah.
Well, not a little to me, a little dob, But it's fantastic. It doesn't taste bad at all. You got to get a little accustomed to it, but once you do, I enjoy the hell out of it. It's really delicious. It's creamy.
That sounds very rich.
I put heavy cream.
Starts you going the right way.
Yeah, I warm up some heavy cream. Really heavy dark coffee. Jennifer, I probably will do something for you for sure.
She heard cheesecake, Lars.
I know. I saw. And then I do a half a stick of butter, and then I blend it together, and it is so good.
Really?
Oh, cool, Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl. Daryl's a cigar reviewer down here, but more importantly, he's a good friend. And he and I always meet on Sundays at our local cigar shop and hang out. And when we hang out and smoke our cigars, he'll get water. I'll get unsweet tea. I do like unsweet tea as well, with my cigars. But
half a stick, baby, half a stick.
Half a stick.
I eat probably 4 sticks of butter a day.
Jennifer wants to know if you follow it with a cholesterol med.
Yes, I don't, because my cholesterol levels are incredible since I've been doing this diet.
Yeah, it's very keto friendly. I mean,
yes, it is.
The guy that I was talking about, he literally said, if you're going to be doing the keto diet, the best way to jumpstart your system every morning, coffee, and you put good quality, not weird butter, good quality butter, a good dollop. Let it melt in there, swish it around, and he's got something else that it's like a type of oil. Forgot what it is, the name of it, but dude, he swears by this, and I've had it, and
so it is amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's I love it.
My engineer today, there's a girl who I'm kind of she's interning with me for college, and I'm teaching her engineering and production and stuff like that. And so we spent the day working on a music project, but I made us some turkey burgers that I put Spanish farmer's cheese, cut it up into tiny, small little diced up pieces, and then aged cheddar, mixed it into the turkey meat, just a little bit of salt and pepper. That's it, just a small amount. And then I wrapped that with bacon all over it and then cooked it. So the burger almost steams, and instead of having the crispy part on the burger part, it gets all crisp bacon all around it. I grilled that and make it super crispy, and then the cheese is all melted and the juices of the burger. I use beef too, but she's a blood type A, so I wanted to make turkey burger for her instead of beef. And it's just the juices, and also I put half a stick of butter on top. Wow. And let it melt. And I served the burger in a small bowl. So all the butter is in there, melts all over it and stays in there. And you're kind of dipping your burger into butter and just eating it like with your hands.
Good
I don't
Lord.
even eat it with I don't eat it with a fork and knife. I'm just literally dipping the burger in there, eating it right out of the bowl. It's so good.
I feel like I got to go for a jog after this conversation.
That's super keto friendly. I mean, everything you said there. I mean, if you really wanted to use something, slice 2 pieces of tomato, put that in between that, and there's your patties. But I love what you're saying. That's super, super healthy. People would think that it's not, but on the contrary, if you are keto dieting, that is the best type of burger eating you could possibly do, and super healthy.
So I lost 100 pounds a couple of years ago. I was diagnosed with diabetes. maybe a little over 2 years ago. So I just changed my diet completely, and I had high blood pressure, and my cholesterol was messed up. They basically took me off all my meds now, but because
Well, that's great.
I've been, keeping up with the time. My blood pressure's super low now. I have to run for at least a half an hour just to get my heart rate up. My cholesterol is perfect. I have no more diabetes, and I do that. I'm like hardcore into. I got to do about 10, 15 carbs a day, but it's tons of fat. The real way I was able to do it was I started out by eating chicharrones every day.
Yeah,
Like
it's
literally
a great snack.
about, yeah. Oh, I ate it all for all my meals. That's all I ate for about 6 months, and I lost tons of weight.
I tell everybody, if you want to eat potato chips, don't buy yourself a whole bag of them. They're just like it's actually healthier for you.
Right. Well, I did the deep frying of it, so it was like the whole big fresh ones. So I did fresh chicharrones, a big pork fat, just deep frying it, big chunks of it, and it just blows up and melts in your mouth. It's so delicious.
Oh, man.
Pork fat.
Oh God! And so I was literally for the first 6 months just eating pork fat and chicharrones every day, the fresh ones, and then I started introducing bacon. So it's about 2.5 to 3 pounds of bacon every day, and then I did burgers and then steak.
Wow.
And just only meat for the first about a year. All I ate was like bacon, chicharrones, and steak and beef.
I'm getting a case of the gout just listening to this.
No. I had gout too. I got rid of my gout. My uric acid levels went down to 3.5. Most people it's about 7. It was at 15.
Right.
So I got rid of it. I don't have to take any of that stupid medicine they wanted me to take for gout, but I don't take anything. And
That's
I did it
amazing.
just through diet.
It's amazing. I was doing a anabolic fasting diet, where you have lunch, you have protein, you have a vegetable, no carbs, and then you have a good fat, whether it's avocado or nuts. You do the same thing for dinner, and then at 9 o'clock at night, you carb up, whether it's a half a sweet potato, peanut butter, banana, whatever the case may be. And then as your insulin's, and your sugars, everything spikes overnight, it also brings along a lot of good chemicals, the testosterone, HGH, the whole 9 yards. And then you don't eat a thing from 9 o'clock at night until noon. And that's your fasting time. So most of your fasting is done, while you're sleeping. So these different diets and stuff, and you're talking about Lars with, I've done the protein diet, and it's amazing because I think once you understand how the human body works, it makes sense. At first, like you're looking at half a stick of butter, chicharron, your bacon. Well, the idea is it's calories in, calories out, but it's also, or calories in, calories burned, but it's also the type of calories that you're taking in, and your body's ability to what your body burns fast versus what it stores,
Right.
and then the impact it has on your system itself. So, you'd be better off eating a bag of M&Ms versus a bag of chips, just by the way the sugars will spike quickly and drop quickly versus the way it'll store in your body.
Yeah, that's true.
What's up, John? Thanks for joining us. We started off with the
Show, it's all about dieting.
we started off with the marketing of cigars and cigar bands, and here we are talking about sticks of butter and chicharron. Did I say that right, Duncan?
You did.
Chicharron. Duncan's always there, keeping me in check with my Spanish pronunciation. I called Lars. It was his mother's birthday, and I called Duncan's phone. I said, "Put me on speakerphone. I want to sing to your mother." So I was like looking up all the Spanish songs on how to sing "Happy Birthday" to her. So I'm like, "Cumpleaños feliz." I'm singing a song to her, and Duncan goes, "I don't know what you said, but I think you just said happy ass to my mother."
My mother was rolling on the floor laughing, but love it. I love it. I go, yeah. He says happy ass to you too, Mom.
Oh my God, that's funny as shit. Oh my God.
But you know what? She loved the effort.
Yeah.
That's the
well, that
thing.
is a great effort, man.
It was the effort.
Awesome.
My
That is
dad,
awesome.
Paul wants to know, Dad. My dad's up in Pennsylvania, Lars. He's up in Middletown, Pennsylvania.
Oh, hey, brother, how are you?
He wants to know, Chicho, Dad. It's pork rinds. It's just the
Well, yeah, but if the fresh ones are like just fresh pork with it's like almost the bacon. It's like the back fat, and it's big, thick cuts of it, and they deep fry it. So good.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's all
God.
about love. When that happens, that's all about love right there.
Yeah.
See,
Oh,
my,
yeah.
my dad's gonna be 80 this month.
Oh my
He's gonna be
God,
the big
that's cool.
80, and I think he's looking for a little way to eat something that's probably his doctor's telling him isn't good for him, but he can enjoy. So, Dad, go buy some pork rinds, go buy some pork skins, you'll be good to go. Chicharron. So, Lars, you got your acoustic guitar.
Yeah, I do.
Duncan, I have my guitar.
got
Duncan,
mine.
you have your two number twos.
I got my 2 number 2s.
So Daryl, out of respect for you, I love you, brother. I'm not going to pull out my guitar and play. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it. Just because my friendship with Daryl gets on rocky ground when I play the guitar.
I got you.
He gets on rocky ground too.
You know, I brought some of my boxes over here to show too.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow, dude.
And so, and then that's some of my artwork that would hang off of the things. Oops, sorry.
I like that. You know, it's something I was gonna say earlier. I like also, believe it or not, stuff that's informational as well. So if the box kind of tells a story about the
story,
store,
yeah.
whatnot, I'm all about it. I think that actually does help the retailer a lot. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe a nice shelf talker. You know, so hey,
It's the box itself is a shelf talker. Daryl says my guitar
here's
playing
one
is
of my-
fine, but it's the singing.
There's one of my older boxes too.
wow.
Now let me ask you, Lars. Back in '97, which blends did you have back in the late '90s?
I had a.
I know.
Even in
I'm
the
asking
late
you,
90s,
right?
You're talking about over 100 different blends I
Oh,
did in
well,
the late 90s. Well over 100, probably closer to 200, but some of my old boxes.
Oh wow.
I was trying to figure out. I know I'm trying to find a needle in a pile of needles when I ask you that, because I remember smoking your cigar in '97, and I told you the memory is a good flavorful cigar that had that patchouli flavor to it.
So this was back in like maybe 90, 91, 92, something like that. Look
Wow.
how thick the wood was.
I'll say that's a
Jesus.
pretty heavy box.
Yeah,
Those are a
and then
drawer.
this. Now, okay, so I haven't really. This is probably the first time on anybody's show or anything that I'm kind of exposing this, but I'll tell you about it. It's kind of funny. So this was a long, long time ago. I'm not going to mention the cigar company that decided that they were going to do something similar. I'm not going to mention that name.
That's a nice
so-
way of putting it.
But this was a company that I had. See,
Yeah.
Axis cigars.
I know what you're not saying. So
Yeah. And
I'm
so this was like a humidor. I was one of the first people to have like an actual humidor. Our box was a humidor. Had a little clay things. Remember Atmos?
Yep.
They did those clay things. I had that right in my box. You just put a little water in there, and then now you had the box.
Very cool,
That was a heavy duty hardwood box.
man. Those look like dresser
Oh,
drawers.
and then anyone who knows that cigar thing, the first things I had with that kid was in front of was riding on a Harley and Axis cigars
Uh-huh.
on a Harley.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm not saying that anybody rip
No.
that
Wink,
off.
wink, wink, nudge, nudge. What do you know?
That's not being said.
That's
I like
the
it,
cigar he's
man.
smoking now. This is the box.
Yeah. I love it, man. I do love the artwork. I love the
And then
pop.
even on the bottom of the box, there's another painting. Inside. So I mean, like, I always like to have this incorporated. That's my angry robot design thing. I'm
Yeah.
doing. Steampunk cigar.
Now, how long have you had the Angry Robot?
That's kind of a newer thing that I'm doing.
I like it.
Yeah, and I've been like making a lot of paintings with that, and we did a T-shirt with it, and it's a part of my whole like kind of thing now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because of AI and stuff, I just kind of wanted to put that into the storyline.
That's awesome, man. Those are great boxes, and I think, going back to what we started off with, there's something to be said about the marketing. Some folks will tell a story with their marketing. Some folks will utilize whether the band or the artwork to tell a story, like yourself, where you're able to not only offer the cigars to the consumer, but you're also offering your artwork to the consumer.
Absolutely.
And there's some folks that, I mean, some of the names and some of the things I see out there, it's just trying to get the attention at the moment, and I've always appreciated it. And the reason, one of the reasons why, having you on tonight, and Duncan as well, with his longstanding history, is, creating a brand that will bring a great cigar, a great product and artwork to market and withstand a test of time. And I think we live in this day and age of the Instagram where everybody has the attention span of a gnat, where if you come out with a cigar and whatever the name is or whatever the artwork is on it, if it's something that is just in the moment, it could be a flash in the pan. And I definitely appreciate all of the good night, Paul. God bless.
Night, Anthony.
I think it's fantastic that you have something and you're building on this brand for decades and able to produce a great cigar as well as this artwork. Duncan, I know you've been around and you've seen the different brands come and go, and some of the artwork and some of the names that are just absurd.
Yeah.
And I think they're done just for a quick hit.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, again, I go back to it. I'm a purist. Sometimes simplicity is beautiful. Sometimes artwork on the boxes needs to tell me a little bit more than just, hey, I'm going to be catchy and I'm going to be the hot new flavor of the day. I don't want that. One of the things that I was looking right now when you were putting your boxes up is you're giving somebody also an opportunity, Lars, with the way that you're showcasing your artwork. For example, I had the pleasure of running a gallery in Miami. I had a design studio and a gallery. A lot of the times, struggling young artists did not have a place that they could go to a big fancy gallery and showcase their stuff because it's very, very expensive. So there were places like my shop and my design studio where I would say, for the first month, we're not going to charge you anything, and we're going to work with you, and we're going to do events for you. What you're doing right there is people who love your artwork may not be able to afford the original piece, but maybe they see that box and say, you know what? I love Lars. I love his artwork. And you know what? If I can just take this box, boom, I have a piece of something that's pure and amazing, and I love it. You're giving them the access also to that artwork where some folks may not be able to have that, And I truly do like that concept. I mean, it's cigars, it's artwork. I mean,
Yeah.
That's why I have it set up. If you notice, it's like gold inside.
Yep.
So you can literally just take this put a little screw back thing onto a hanging thing,
And
and hang it right on your wall.
Yeah.
And there's artwork right there, literally hanging on your wall.
Yeah, Daryl said that the boxes and bands are best when they describe the cigar and provided you a history, tells you the story, and I think that's the theme tonight when we talk about the marketing. Is are you? It does the brand? Is there a story behind it? Is there meaning behind with the artwork? I said it before. I was told, if you want to be taken seriously, you got to have a cigar band. And I was like, well, no, not really. You got to have a good cigar if you want to be taken seriously.
True.
And you can be really simplistic with what you do, whether it's a cedar sleeve like we started off with, or a little bit of artwork and just having some history behind it. Whether it's for me, it was my grandfather on a cigar, sitting on my dad's dad sitting on the bumper of his car. The map is the map of Greenville, South Carolina, where I currently live, from 1938. The car that he's sitting on is a 1938 model, and it's in Pennsylvania. Duncan, my dad mentioned this earlier. He's like, your family's, is ingrained and steeped in tobacco and cigars. Our family, growing up, has always
see
been.
that right there. That's my mom's picture that we use for everything pretty much. That was when she was 17 years old in Cuba.
Catfish.
That is awesome.
There is no greater, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but to me, there's no greater artwork in the world than that right there.
No, you're absolutely right, because it tells a story. And like I was saying, is that with the artwork, is to tell the story, and homage to my family, and our family is in. My great great-grandfather had an automobile dealership, so our family's history is cars. And that kind of ties in with the traveling. So everything tells a story. Duncan, I remember when you were doing your band that you just showed us. I remember when you were designing that. We were going back and forth and looking at the different artworks, and having something that tells a story and really focuses around your mother.
Right there,
I love that.
We have a picture of her hometown, which is Artemisa in the province where she grew up in. And the other part of it is her and my dad sitting side by side in my dad's old tobacco farm, where his family had grown tobacco since the turn of the century. So to me, those images right there, it says something. There's dates on it. The date when my mom was born, when my dad was born, when we got here to the United States. So these things cohesively came together. And it's funny when folks ask me, man, what are you going to call your cigar shop? What are you going to call your business? I said, well, there's only one name in my mind, and that's Doña Noli. My mom, Noli. So that was the only name I could ever think about. That's the only thing that I could ever think of. That is honor. That is family. That is transcended to me everything of who I am. And what greater person than to honor than my mom? My dad is my hero. He passed away 12 years ago, but my mom she's that big rock that is always there. And when I doubt, when I have any issues, when I wonder, when I, get a little bit into myself, she says, hey, come over here, un cafecito, let's have a little coffee, let's smoke a cigar together. And you know what? Boom. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that. The love of the two countries, Cuba and the United States. It's not fancy. It's not the greatest imagery, but it's, to me, the most beautiful one because it honors everything about my family. And that's my special interpretation always.
I love that so much because you just said she was 17 in that picture.
Yep.
I have a whole line of cigars called Shirley Teton's. And it was my mom's, and the picture on the one cigar is of her when she was 17 years old.
Wow.
Same age. It's awesome.
That's fantastic.
And it all has pictures of my mom on everything. It was great. And in fact, Cigars International, when they were selling my cigars a long, long time ago, that was like one of their best sellers was the Shirley Teton's line, the Mom.
Nice.
That's great. And this picture, when it first was the profile picture on Facebook, she got a lot of calls from a lot of guys.
So yeah, that was sort of a bit of a weird catfish.
That's a catfish's mother.
Who is that woman? Where is she? And I go, well, she's a strapping young lady of 76 at the time. So
What's up, baby? What you doing? You look great in that picture.
it
Yeah,
was hilarious. It was hilarious, man. But just like I said, to me, it was family. It's all that it was. And going to art, real quick. My partner is a fantastic artist. He paints, and he's got a hair salon. But he truly, the past couple of years, he's been experimenting with his own inimitable art style. And the only thing I always say is, you know what? Art is who you are.
Yeah.
Bring that passion out. Whatever it is, bring it out wholeheartedly. And so I salute artists everywhere. I have a soft chunk of peace right there in my heart for all artists.
Small piece of that heart.
Yeah, because it's like a rotted old piece of hunk of steel.
It's in there somewhere.
It's a little hunk of steel. But I love it when they're young people. I love it when they're old people. But anybody who touches upon that, and see, cigars are art. Cigars are art, and what you've done, it's such a beautiful, beautiful marriage.
Yeah.
That's why marketing in this case is flawless. It works.
It works.
And just to do a full circle, some of it doesn't. But when you look at stuff like this, man, it's passion and it's artistic. And I'm a fan. I mean, tomorrow I actually have a good friend of mine. He was the director for the Arts Council here locally. He's visiting us because he's interested in seeing Jonathan's artwork, my partner's artwork. And I said, you know what? I'm excited about that. He's bringing the mayor of the town over to buy cigars. And I said, it's going to be great. An afternoon with a fantastic gallery, person and artist and the mayor. They're going to be looking at my partner's artwork. I'm going to be here with cigars. I love those weird but perfect unions like that. You're like, man, that's awesome. And that's why art, I love Carrie's backstory of everything. Everything clicks. Everything means something. I love your stuff because when to me, there's no greater person than mom. I am a mama's boy.
Yes, I'm with you 100%.
Dude,
my mom was my best friend.
I adored my father, and he was the greatest guy on earth. But my dad's always philosophy was above anything is mom, and above her is God. Everybody else is second. And I said, you know what? I'm good to go with that. His last parting words before he couldn't speak anymore because of his illness was, "Cuida tu madre." Take care of your mother. And I said, that's the law that I live by. I'm overjoyed to know that you honor her like that also.
Yeah.
I'm overjoyed that Carrie has that sense of family. When I hear that in people, man, my heart overflows completely, dude. So
I told you
my mom was awesome. She smoked cigars. She drank whiskey. She was just awesome. She was training UFC guys.
What a perfect partner. I get a drink delivered and everything. I love that, baby.
I love it. She trained UFC guys until she was like 79.
Dude, that's
cool. Really? Wow.
Was doing full contact sparring too. With
She's like, if I can do it, you guys can do it.
You got that right.
Were you into skateboards at all, Duncan?
Yes, I fell down and that was it.
Remember Thrasher then, right?
Yeah.
Of course I remember Thrasher. Dude, I can't stand you right now. I can't stand you. I can't stand you, man. Oh my God, that is awesome. That is awesome. Dude, I love it. I love it, man.
We were just talking about that the other day, Lars.
Yeah.
That is fantastic, man. No, but true story. I tried skating, skateboarding one time, and the pavement said, "How are you?" And I said, "Pretty good." Slammed my head on it. I said, "Never again, man." I said,
explains a lot, though, Duncan.
Dude, it does. It does. Let me tell you, it does. I dig it, man. As a matter of fact, you remember back in the day, Stogie, when they first came out?
Yes, of course.
I worked at a Stogie exclusive store in South Florida. And people were like, dude, because I was like, oh, dude, this is totally radical, man. And then I go home and I'm like, I can't believe I actually talked like that for the entire day. That's so stupid. It was like I would put on this like kind of like surfer mask and accent.
But that stuff
It was
used to
so
be
funny
very
because
tough to find back in the day, and now it's like
Stussy's been
Target.
around since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
You know what's really funny? Stussy was made in upstate New York, Johnstown, New York, at the Johnstown Knitting Mill, and that when I was just like 8 years old, I hired my first two full-time sewers from the Johnstown Knitting Mill, and they were working on Stussy stuff when I first hired them.
Wow.
That's how old that brand is. That's crazy.
Yeah, I remember I got my when I spent
They were
I
not
spent a
cheap.
summer
They were not-
down I spent a
now?
summer down in Dewey Beach in Delaware because I went to school in Delaware, and there was a one store that carried Stussy stuff, and I had a flannel Stussy, and this was probably like 1991, 92, and now it's like, hey, it's in Target now.
I'm 56 years old, so they were making Stussy back then.
Yeah,
But here's the thing: it was like for the surfer gear and for that kind of. They were not cheap at all.
No,
no,
they weren't. They
When
weren't.
they first opened up, just an exclusive Stussy only
yeah,
in South Florida. It was actually in Coconut Grove, and that was high-end district. And to have landed a job in there, I was like, oh my God, they hired me. I'm like, this is awesome. You
That's
know,
awesome.
I get their clothing at a discount. Dude, I was like, everybody loved me in high school. It's like, dude, can you give me a discount? I'm like, no, hell no, dude, get out of here.
well, it's amazing how that journey with that brand, Lars, you talk about how old it is, and I remember it back when I was living at the beach in just a small little surf shop. I got this, flannel Stussy shirt, and it literally I had it for 20 years, afterwards, and now it's you walk into you walk into Target. And Stussy's all over the place. Where back in the day, it was you had to go.
Hard to get.
You had to go. It was like, okay, in the state of Delaware, you had to go to this certain surf shop in Dewey Beach to get Stussy.
Remember also Mossimo. When Mossimo first came out,
Yep.
it was a hot commodity. Now it's like you go to Goodwill, it's all over the place and stuff like that. But I mean, I love
Goodwill.
I love the old like trendy clothing brands when we were kids because it was so cool to be able to say I have this.
Duncan, go get your Granimals. It's okay. You can get your.
Yeah.
What was that?
That's a really funny thing with Goodwill because I had a friend of mine, this woman, Princess Christina Ferrari, from the Ferrari family, where the cars come from, and that's a royal family. And every time we hung out, she had to go to a Goodwill. Anytime we traveled around the country together or traveled there, she had to go to one of the Goodwill places, Salvation Armies, and look for clothes there. She loved getting clothes at Goodwill and Salvation Army.
It's great stuff, man. Yeah. If you really want to get some good shopping, and now when I got
silk.
when I got out of
awesome.
college, the girl I was dating was like, okay, I got to go do some job interviews and money's tight. And we went to the Goodwill in Villanova. So I'm like,
You had
okay,
really good stuff there.
you damn Skippy. You go into a very affluent area. You're on the main line in Philly. You got Swarthmore, you got Villanova, and you're like, I'm going to go into their Goodwill was like a high-end department store at a fraction of the cost. She bought a suit for an interview and still had the tags on it. It was like,
This girl, Christina Ferrari, she was mega rich, huge trust fund. And she just liked shopping there. There was this daughter of this senator. I'm not going to mention who it is, but she was, her and I used to date a long, long time ago. And she also loved going to Goodwill. She had a trust fund that was probably close to $400 million. She never would go in and buy expensive shit.
Really?
And not only that, but she didn't even buy expensive jewelry. She was like, even back then, totally not wanting to do any gold and diamonds because of all the slavery that was encapsulated in the purchase of a gold or a diamond thing. So she would go to the hardware store, and I made a whole line of jewelry not my idea. It was like from her idea. But I made a whole line of jewelry like this. She went into the hardware store and bought all these washers that she'd wear as rings and washers she wears bracelets and take all sorts of different hardware and make her own jewelry with it. And she never spent money on expensive stuff. She was super cool. A ton of money, didn't care, just wanted to
I'll
That's
tell you what,
amazing.
live simple.
I have an uncle, and he is a wonderful person, Messianic Jewish person, and I love him. So the long and short of it, he is supremely very business savvy, very wealthy today. But his origins were when they first came here to the United States. They would travel to all these thrift stores and Goodwill places, and they would buy in bulk T-shirts and things that had like Nike and Reebok and whatnot, and then they would take that, ship it to Costa Rica, which is where he was living at the time, clean it, fold it, do everything, and then they would just sell that for $4 or $5. That was 30, almost 40 years ago. Today, well, they own Solmelia, which was it's now a defunct, I think, like resort group. Doesn't exist anymore, but they were Mexican. So now he owns like hotels. His daughter is an attorney. She lives in Portugal. They own like 14 bus lines, and it all started with buying at a thrift store of all things. But
That's awesome.
there's beautiful stories. People, it's funny. People chastise those who go into a place like that. I adore going into a Goodwill or a thrift store and spending a couple hours, man. I'm like, the stuff you can find. I have found like literally Hugo Boss Black Label. It's like, are you kidding me? That's a $400 shirt, and I'm getting it for like $3. I'm all in, baby. It's like,
oh yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
See, we just grew up with the Hills department store.
So that's what I'm starting to smoke now. It's my SS.
Yes.
Sweet and spicy, very, very good cigar. It's one of my favorite things I made. It's so intense. I love it.
So, Lars, we gonna hear the guitar?
Sure.
Bust out the acoustic. We can end the evening off with a little bit of music. Duncan, get your 2 number 2s. Get your 4s.
I got them right here, baby. Let's
Get your cymbal out, Charlie Brown.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me get up lyrics on this thing.
Should I get Duncan? Should I go?
Go do it. Go do it.
Duncan's like, put it down. Put it down.
Do what you want to do, man.
I'll start singing, and I'll sing a lullaby for Daryl to go to bed.
I was telling my
It's more like
partner,
nightmares.
Filthy Rich, selling his artwork to not forget me. He said that's why we ain't married and there's no documentation yet. So it's like, I don't think I'm going to be getting a penny out of that.
That's funny. I wanted to say hi to Ron Brown. Hopped on, my man Ron, RTB Cigars. Good to see you, Ron.
Big Ron, or so he is known in certain circles. Big
Is
Ron.
that what it is?
Okay. Give me 1 second.
So Duncan,
So
what's up? What's gonna be the program for your next show?
So I was telling Carrie this. I want to experiment.
I am Carrie.
Yeah, I know. I was saying to Lars, Lars, okay. I was telling you, I want to experiment with doing a pre-recorded show and see how that goes. But not the 17th, which is not this coming Wednesday, the following Wednesday, we're gonna have from Hiram and Solomon. Fuad Koshadi is going to be with us. We're going to dive into the mystique of Hiram and Solomon cigars. I'm excited about it. I love it. I think it's going to be really, really a lot of fun.
Fuad's a good guy.
Oh, dude, Fuad. It's.
I had a chance to visit their shop in Jersey when I was up there working and hang out with him and smoke cigars.
I stalked him. Did I ever tell you that? I stalked him for like a full 2 years, dude. He finally.
Well, you're known for that.
Yeah, this is very true. I searched them out and I said, I want your cigars, dude. I want them. And finally, after 2 years of harassing the hell out of him, he finally came and personally brought me the delivery. And man, ever since then, we've hit it off. We're good friends.
Good. Lars, what you
Can
got?
you hear this?
Oh, yeah.
You can hear the guitar?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Give me 1 second. We'll start the sucker out. I'm just a cowboy, living in a cowboy life, selling trees and fucking your wife. It's just a cowboy thing we do. Fuck around and get a hole in you too. I'm just a cowboy, living in a cowboy life, selling trees and fucking your wife. It's just a cowboy thing we do. Fuck around and get a hole in you too. I flip her over and turn her around. Give her some of that country sound. On the back roads, rain coming down. Cut off jeans, falling around. I'm just a cowboy, living in a cowboy life, selling trees and fucking your wife. It's just a cowboy thing we do. Fuck around and get a hole in you too. I'm just a cowboy, living in a cowboy life, selling trees and fucking your wife. Just a cowboy thing we do. Fuck around and get a hole in you too. Country boy, get the hand when it comes to my neighbor's man. We know how to do it all night. Country boys know how to get it right. I'm just a cowboy, living in a cowboy life, selling trees and fucking your wife. It's just a cowboy thing we do. Fuck around and get a hole in you too. Getting on that tractor, man. Country boy always got a plan. Plowing fields till she moans all night. Country boys know how to get it right. I'm just a cowboy, living in a cowboy life, selling trees and fucking your wife. It's just a cowboy thing we do. Fuck around and get a hole in you too. I'm just a cowboy, living in a cowboy life, selling trees and fucking your wife. It's just a cowboy thing we do. Fuck around and get a hole in you too.
Nice, nice.
Thank you.
What a way to end the show, man. It's always good to have some music. And again, we got the cigars, the artistry of the cigars. We have the artwork of the cigar boxes, the band, and now you have the music, which is the triple threat of talent and artistry. So, thank you for that, Lars.
I love playing that song, but I love the guitar that I play with Trap House on it.
I like the stickers, man. They tell a story too.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, listen, guys, I want to thank you both again, man. This is always a great time with you on the show. You know, where we go from here, we do not know, but I do, and we're going to tell everybody over the weekend what the next show is going to be about. I really do appreciate both of your experiences, your history over the last several shows, taking that journey, because I think we don't really take the time to consider some of the things. What I'd like to do next is to bring on a couple of cigar reviewers and bring it all together. Daryl touched on it tonight. You know, hey, there's a small percentage of the cigars that he smokes, or when he smokes cigars, it takes into consideration the artistry, the marketing. But when you take the construction, the tobacco, the blends, the flavoring, the cigars that have the flavorings, the ones that are and we touched on the non-flavored tobaccos, but I think it all pulls everything together and takes a look at a situation where all these things are taken into consideration when doing a cigar review and enjoying your favorite cigar.
Absolutely.
Amen.
You know, I mentioned it earlier. There's been so many different brands that Duncan's introduced me to. One of them was Felix Mesa El Galán, and we had an opportunity to sit in his shop and talk to him down in Miami, and then also have him up here. Every time I spoke one of his cigars, I look at the band. I feel like I'm taken back to the stories that he was telling us about his grandparents' farm. So if you can enjoy a great cigar and have that journey, I think that's fantastic. And Lars, you're able to do that with your brand. And look, oh, you know where you are. That sounded like the beginning of the Welcome to the Jungle. I think my last song probably just Daryl probably just fell out of his chair and threw his laptop across the room. But I want to thank you both again. Duncan Ramon Echevarria. Check him out. Donionoli Cigars.
Thank you guys so much.
Fantastic guys. Lars Teams. Check out Lars Cigars. Check him out online. And also, coming soon, we got the spices.
Yeah.
More to come on where you can get them. And I'm going to look forward to having them on our site because these are going to be on the Stogie Road site. These are going to be Jennifer approved.
Absolutely.
When you get the Jennifer seal of approval, in my opinion, that's a big deal.
Lars,
Absolutely.
I'm going to send you a DM on social media with my info, okay?
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
I got you.
I never go on LinkedIn, although I do have a LinkedIn account. But if you send it to me on Facebook or Instagram, either one, I'll get it.
I'll shoot you on Facebook then.
Thank you so much. And
Awesome.
also, he's probably going to have these too. Let me see, where is this?
Nice.
D8 gummies.
Because I might need them.
Yes.
Duncan, I'll get a good discount, Duncan.
Yep. D8 gummies, can't beat that.
Listen, from Lars, Duncan, and Care, we want to thank you again for spending the last couple hours with us, man. We love you.
I love you guys. Thank you
Love
so
you
much.
too, man. Check us out next week when we're going to be discussing, hopefully, if I can get some cigar reviewers on, get some folks to talk about what they look for in a cigar, how they pull these flavors out, and how do they rate their cigars, and pull in all the stuff we've discussed over the last couple of weeks into that realm. So from Lars, Duncan, and Care, have a wonderful evening. Have a great weekend. If you're up in the snow belt, Lars, how much snow did you get?
Over 2 feet.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
No, I was fine.
Pot snowblower.
I honestly, I did not even leave my place since Saturday. Today was the first day I walked out of my house.
Wow. Well, be safe, man.
My boxer came over every morning. I trained him. And basically I just worked on different stuff. People came here and worked with me, and that was it.
Well, thank you both for being on. Be safe.
I love you guys. Thank you.
And we will check you all out next week. Have a great weekend. God bless. And we'll see you on the Stogie Road. Peace.
Love you.